Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Birds vs. Boys. We are now into June. It is officially OTA time. Mini camps will be around the corner. Training camp is about 7 weeks away. And before you know it, it will be September 4th, and the Dallas Cowboys will be on the field watching the Philadelphia Eagles raise their Super Bowl banner before the opening kickoff of the NFL season. But let's not rush summer. But we're here to talk about what's happening right now in terms of the NFL, the Cowboys and the Eagles, OTAs, Madden covers, everything. And
Yo,
as we record this, Aiden is about 2 hours away from hopping on a flight to Italy. How are you, man? Well,
good,
no,
as you
I don't care
said.
about how you are. You're going to Italy.
Well, what a year, huh? It just keeps on going. Keeps
This
on
is
going. Look, I have
this
a
is
I
what
have
you
an
need all day, every day.
I have an
Espresso.
Italian espresso here in my hand if you're watching on YouTube.
I'm going to
I
give you
literally
some
thought that.
advice.
Yeah.
You cannot have coffee with cream in it after
Oh,
12. They will yell at you.
I honestly
Cappuccino is for the morning, espresso is for the rest of the day. You can drink
am
espresso as much as you want all day, every day. You just walk up and they give it. It's. I once said in Florence, I said, "Can we just have two espressos?" He goes, "It's not just espresso; it's a necessary." He yelled at me. I'm like, "Okay, I'll have two necessary espressos, please."
Okay, necessary espressos. Is that like grande or tall? I don't know.
Nope.
In fairness, that's pretty much how I operate here in the United States. I only really have espresso or like Americano. So I don't even know if they have Americano over there or if that's an
They
American
do.
thing. Okay. Yeah. I don't put anything in my coffee as it is. So it's literally just dark coffee and water most of the time. So we'll be ready to roll. I'm excited.
As you should be. Like I told you, it was my favorite thing in the world. As I don't know if you could. All right, it's done. Someone was calling me on my other computer, and it was very loud. But now that's gone. So you were going to enjoy every moment of it, almost as much as I think you're enjoying this Madden cover. I want to hit that quick. Are we happy? Are we nervous? Are we
Nervous.
enjoying it? Is it cool? All the
No.
above.
Well, first off, I have a question for the people listening and watching at home. Is Madden still cool? Do people still play Madden? Because I don't know anybody that does. And am I just like out of that age group now and everyone who was in that age group still plays? But
So
I feel like NCAA came back and we were so excited for that everybody played that. I don't even know people who play Madden. So the Madden Curse, I feel like still exists, right? I don't know. I could do without it.
yeah, it does still exist because I do see it on Twitter all the time. Our guy Jay Tuck is always chirping back and forth with Des Bryant and Micah Parsons' brother, that who beats who on Madden. They play each other live, so I think people still do. And yeah, I think the Madden curse is still alive because Christian McCaffrey last year got hurt, didn't play well. Josh Allen had, I think, his worst year when he was on there. The year Mahomes and Brady were on, Mahomes, I think, didn't even make it to the Super Bowl, and then Brady's marriage fell apart. So I think it's still there.
There's the problem. One, we knew signing up for Saquon, like we got good Saquon. We knew what he could be, but it's always been the same. It's like he has uh, ankle paper mache, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes he sprains them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he misses 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. So, like, we got good Saquon. There's always the possibility with any running back, really, you get the bad version, which is the injured version.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to mitigate that risk in any possible way, even if it is mitigating imaginary curses. If we have to carry Madame Zeroni's up the mountain to stop our family curse from happening, we're going to do it. We're not going to put ourselves on Madden cover. So I am a little bit worried about this.
But I will say it's the
I
coolest looking Madden cover that there's been,
It is.
maybe
It is
ever.
a cool looking Madden cover. I think it was from a Madden EA perspective. It was probably the best one to choose. It felt obvious to choose Saquon, and then we always coin it the Heisman moment, but it was the offensive player of the year moment, as you could
Yep.
say, with that hurdle. So yeah, I think it was a good choice on their part, but a very nervous choice. I have to care a little bit too much right now about Will Shipley. Like, I just don't want to spend this much time in my life worried about how good Will Shipley is at football. Does that make sense?
He's
No
pretty good
offense
though.
to him. He seems pretty good, but I don't really know. And I don't know. When I'm on the coast of Italy, I don't want to be thinking about Will Shipley. No
I will
offense
say
to
the
Will.
one thing, the one cop out about the cover is the generic black helmet that he's jumping over. You know what? No, you got to own it. Was that the Jaguars? Who
It
did?
was the Jaguars.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you
put the
gotta
fucking Jaguar helmet on. You have to
I
own it.
know.
That was your moment. The Jaguars are in the NFL. I'm sorry. Put the helmet on.
Yeah. You have the licensing for it,
Yeah.
obviously. Everybody's in the game. Literally, EA Sports is in the game. So, yeah, put the helmet on. Come on.
I would love if I was like that defender's like cousin or brother. If like you had like the white elephant for Christmas, I would have gotten him the biggest poster of that for Christmas,
Oh, yeah. I
framed.
feel Kyle Brandt did a really good segment on that guy today, and he was like, "He's actually awesome as a player." And now he's stuck. Everyone's just gonna remember that Saquon jumped over him backwards.
It's like the guys that get like dunked on from Shaq when he broke the
Yeah.
glass and everything. It's like that's
Like,
just that's your moment now.
this guy averaged a double-double, and all we remember is you getting posterized.
It's like
Who
got
was
the
it?
kid from Harry Potter. He will always be Harry Potter. He can never do any other role, even though he's amazing in Broadway and whatever else. I'm sorry, I don't
Mhm.
know his real name. It's Harry Potter.
That was literally a scene in, This Is the End, remember? Emma oh my god, what's her name in real life? I'm thinking her last name is Granger, but that's literally her name in Harry Potter.
See,
Emma something.
Stone.
Emma Stone, thank you, I think. Whatever, but it's like they were that scene where they're like, "We just got robbed by Hermione."
Yes,
You're always that, whether you
that's it.
like it or not.
That's it. All right, so I'm gonna tease something real quick before we get into our OTAs because we were supposed to be recording today the earliest prediction show, no, I don't want to say recap, preview
Preview.
show
Yeah.
of all time, heading into Cowboys Eagles in September with our good friends Brandon Lee Gouton and RJ Ochoa. But Brandon Lee Gouton's like, OTAs, I need to go to a press conference with Nick Sirianni. Kind of took so BLG is was there. So we are going to be recording this next week when Aiden gets back from Italy. But the earliest ever preview show will drop next week with myself, KMS, Aiden Powers, and our good friends RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys and the one and only BLG. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've done a ton of stuff with them before. They've come on our shows. We've come on theirs.
Mhm.
And we are going to do this earliest, and then we're going to try and do the latest, maybe like the day of or the night before in
In the
September.
in the parking lot before the
Yes.
game.
Well, we are trying, but RJ, and I love RJ, but he's being a little bit of a baby, saying he'll
Yeah.
never come to Philly.
Him and Mike Tag not
Yeah,
coming to Philly.
guys, it's
Two
not that
guys
bad.
who are always willing to talk it and not willing to walk it, I
And
will
you know what's the
say,
funniest
and I
thing?
love them.
You know what's the funniest thing is? Listen, I know it's going to be for all Cowboys fans, especially myself. I'm married to one. I'm married to two. I'm married to my wife, and I'm married to you in terms of Eagle fans. So it's going to hurt me even more. But if I'm a Cowboys fan, this is the game I want to be at because the Eagles fans are not going to give a shit about you.
I
They're going to be
yeah.
so high on the Super Bowl and the banner and happy. Yeah, they're going to shit on us. But I feel like this may be the least amount of fighting that happens because everyone's just going to be jubilation.
Yeah, you make a great point. I think it's going to be party level. Like I feel
Yes.
like that tailgate's going to feel like a party. They're going to going to be cranked up a few extra notches. It's the
Yes.
home opener, it's the season opener, it's the banner night. So everybody's going to be a little extra, but you're right.
Mhm.
I don't think that necessarily leads to animosity because I think you're just over the top on you're kind of drunk on your own riches, right? Like
Mhm.
you won the Super Bowl, you did everything right, you had this perfect season. It's the final celebration before the next one kicks off. So I think people are more geared towards that. So yeah,
No.
you're right.
My one suggestion though is if let's say somehow it's like 37-10 in the fourth quarter, the Cowboys are up,
Yeah,
somehow leave. Leave before the game is over.
yeah. I'm
You don't
leaving.
want to
I
be
would.
walking out with the crowds with a 2009 Ezekiel Elliott jersey on.
Yeah,
Leave it.
leave early anyways. That parking lot is a
Yeah.
gridlock.
Yes. I love that it's just like there's 47 exits and they're like, nope, nope, shut off. Go to the one.
That happens to me at the Phillies game so many times. And I'll park. I'm like, oh, I'm so close to the exit. And then you get out there and like, just kidding, not this exit. Like,
There's
why?
only one. There's one for all of you.
It's literally like door number 2, door number 3. Which
I
door do
saw
you
some of the
choose?
craziest road rage fighting leaving the Wells Fargo Center after Disney on Ice. It
Oh,
was just a disaster,
I believe it. Every dad in their right mind is like, "Get me out of here as
yeah,
soon as possible,"
including me.
including you. Yeah, I could see it. It's an issue. I know they're redeveloping that area, so hopefully it kinda softens the parking
Yeah,
situation. God, I
let's
could only hope.
let's
When
hope so.
I went to Taylor Swift, it took me through New Jersey to get home. That was the fastest way home. I crossed the bridge twice.
That's absolutely hilarious, actually.
Yeah, it was
What'd you get on
crazy,
the
and
Walt
the
Whitman? And
craziest
then
part was it worked. It was the fastest way home.
so would you go over the Walt Whitman to then
Yes, and then came back over to get on 676 in Center City
wow.
on the Ben Franklin.
Actually, yeah, that
Yeah.
actually that's
Or vice
hilarious.
versa. No, I'm mixing up the bridges. But you get the point. Yeah, how
Yes,
crazy is that?
disaster.
Yeah. But back to your original point, yes, preview show. Very
Mhm.
excited for that. A lot of what I'm going to touch on today is actually coming from Brandon's reporting
Oh,
there
awesome.
at the Dovercare complex, which is great. And another thing, I'm excited for the show, not only because any Eagles Cowboys game was fun to preview, but we presented this idea of doing the earliest preview show possible to these guys.
Yep.
And it took, I swear, in the DMs less than 2 minutes for it to get like chaotic in terms
Yes.
of arguing about football and sports in
Yeah.
general. It was just an immediate pop off. And that was just setting up the episode before that was before we even had a time and a place yet to do it. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when we actually get to the show.
What did RJ say too? I'm just trying to look through all the DMs. Uh,
We got on we he noticeably got on Astros very quickly.
yes. Oh my. Yes. There's a lot of Astros pictures there. I would rather walk 500 miles in any direction than ever set foot in Philadelphia.
You guys are missing out.
Um, so- and then he goes, Brandon Lee Gowton goes, "You literally got caught cheating." To his Astros picture, and then RJ goes, "So did the Eagles. That's why the tush push is being banned. Fraud title, in my opinion. Did not get
And
banned though.
it did not.
He
Keep on
he was
winning.
listening to Diana Rossini.
Yeah. Oh, we all were. And now I'm
Yeah.
a little worried.
Mhm. All right, let's
But
hop
yeah,
into what's happening with these teams right now. And since you were just mentioning Brandon Lee Gowton and his reporting and all that, why don't we start? And the game is in Philadelphia. Why don't we start in Philly?
sure. Okay. Vic Fangio met with the media today, and we got a little glimpse coaching wise into OTAs from what the reporters had seen. A lot of interesting stuff happening on defense, as we imagined, because you have some new faces or they're in new places, guys having to step up, or guys not quite ready yet. Now, what Vic Fangio said, and this is my number one takeaway: Jahad Campbell not ready to practice yet,
Hmm.
but he said he should be ready to practice by August. And you think to yourself, ooh,
That's a
August,
little close.
long way away,
Yep.
close to the season. But on draft night, there were analysts talking like this is a gap year. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't going to play. So August feels far away right now. But when we took this kid, they were speaking as if he might not play this season. August, he'll be here by training camp.
Yes.
And with that, here's what I think is his path. And it might get a little construed because Nakobe Dean is also hurt. But last year, Cooper DeJean got hurt in training camp. He didn't play the first 4 weeks. They went into the bye week. Vic Fangio said, hey, he's ready.
Yep.
We put him in. Uh, we lost one time the rest of the year. So that worked out.
And I
I
will
think,
say, I believe Vic Fangio was listening to this podcast because it was after the Buccaneers lost. You're like, all right, after the bye, come out, play the young guys.
yep, I'm with that. I'm actually, the Phillies just did that too. I have seen Taiwan Walker throw 1,000 meatballs over the plate. I know what he is. God bless him because he did pitch well early in the season. And I said, please just bring up Mick Abel. And if Nola still stinks in the end of July, bring up Andrew Painter.
Hmm.
Let the young kids play. It worked for the Eagles. And right after that, Mick Abel, one of our top prospects, back in the rotation. So
Yep.
I am all for if you have a known commodity and you have an unknown commodity that could benefit you in the long run, try the unknown commodity if it's the young player. And the
Yep.
Eagles did that. And I think you will see that with Jahad Campbell. I don't think even if he's back in mid-August, like they say, I don't know if you see him on the field week 1, and that is okay. We didn't have Cooper DeJean on the field in week 1, and he turned out all right. Nolan Smith not on the field in week 1, turned out all right.
I'm praying for a lot of them not to play week 1.
Yeah. And then the game gets a lot more interesting if they're like, okay, well, honestly, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I'd even give him a run at linebacker. It'd be cool.
I I hope Makuba. I hope they're like, you have to earn your wings, Makuba. You're not playing week 1.
Oh, rave reviews
I
on
know.
Makuba.
I
Yeah.
told I loved him.
Hmm.
I loved his
Apparently,
tape. I wanted him to be a Cowboy.
he looked good in OTAs.
Mhm.
And again, I don't know if he's your guy week 1. Like when we're talking Eagles Cowboys and doing a recap show, I don't know if I'm saying Jahad Campbell made that huge stop in the third quarter and then Makuba had that interception on Dak to seal it. I don't know if I am, but
Mhm.
when we're playing the Rams week 3, I think these guys might be in the mix a little bit.
Yep. Agreed.
Or the Bucks again. We'll lose to the Bucks in week 4 again because we go to Tampa and it's a million degrees and we lose every time. And then week 5 we'll come back and be like, all right, we had fun. Let's start the young guys.
Yep. Yep. Sounds about
And
right.
also one more quick Jahad Campbell thing, but they're starting him an inside linebacker. Fangio says he's got a lot to learn there. I love how candid he is. He's just like, yeah,
Yeah, he sucks. But we'll
yeah,
get there.
we'll get there. Yeah. So he's starting there, but he'll still play edge too. That was the
Makes sense.
first tell with the Bryce Huff thing that he was not going to be a part of this team. Vic Fangio was like, yeah, he's just not a 3-down defensive end.
He just sucks
Yeah.
at
He
football.
literally said that. He was just like, yeah, he's not a 3-down guy. Imagine the GM being like, I just gave this guy $51
Yeah,
million
literally.
and you're telling the media members that he can't play 3 down.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vic.
Thanks, Vic. But I
It
guess
was
that's the
actually
other pressing thing.
it was actually Vic Fangio who threw the beer bottle at Howie Roseman's head during the Super
Yeah.
Bowl parade.
Insane. Yeah, so I think from what Vic said, still need time on these guys.
Yep.
I think they're injured now when it's June, and I think we'll have to keep an eye on them. We'll be on the Kobe watch. We'll be on Jihad watch all August long from what he said, which honestly was to be expected.
Yep.
And I did not expect them to see them on the field in week 1. And it sounds like we might have a chance at that. So honestly, it doesn't sound great when you're like, oh yeah, these guys won't be playing for a while, but a while isn't forever,
Yeah, a
like I
while is
thought.
better than never.
A while's better than never.
I I hope.
Yeah,
Well,
for
it's a weird thing. It's like, do I want him on the field week 1 because
no.
maybe he's gonna get lost a little bit? Or do I just not
That's a good
want the
point.
chance that Jihad Campbell has one of his Jihad Campbell moments off the edge and strip sacks
True.
Dak in the
I mean,
4th?
he could get lost though. Remember Micah's first game? He was getting
Oh, yeah.
lost in coverage, and then they're like, "How about we just set you loose Tasmanian Devil
Yep.
style and get after
Yep.
the quarterback?" And that worked out from there on out.
And then the Eagles ran at him every time and then ran that little remember that little they ran towards him and then they flipped the ball over for the touchdown?
Oh yeah,
Yep. That was fun.
I I'm sure they won't go back to that in week 1.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Can't wait.
Also Kevin Patullo, I feel a lot more confident than Brian Johnson. I feel like, knock on wood, I can't wait to watch this clip back in 3 months, as I'm screaming about the offense, but I feel like this is just going to be the same. It's the same. Now that Goddard's back, it is quite literally the same offense. It,
I can't wait
his
for Howie Roseman to flip some lineman for like a 3 to the Lions now that they need a starting center.
Ooh, I wanted to talk about that. Um, it made me think about the NFL landscape in general. Your window closes so
So
fast. The
fast.
center, Ragnow from the Lions, retires at age 29. They were up there. The Eagles, I'd say they had the best offensive line, but for that whole year, most people thought the Lions had the
Oh, the
best
Lions
offensive
were
line.
like 1A or 2, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here you are.
So
And
it's like, I mean, because he's an all-pro center. It's like, okay, you
mhm,
don't just replace that.
yeah. Or, you know, sometimes you have an all-pro center and he's played 12 years and you're like, "All right, it's getting towards the end. We should
Hmm.
probably draft his replacement." And you have him help you choose the replacement, and then he plays another year and he's all pro again, and then he retires, and you're like, "Okay, time for the heir apparent." And then he's all pro as well, and then you have a running back who runs for 2,000 yards, and then you win the Super Bowl. So I don't know. Sometimes that happens
Sometimes,
at the center position.
sometimes things work.
That's how things work. But no, I really, it was made me introspective on the NFL. The Lions lose that NFC championship game, blow that lead against the 49ers,
Yep.
come back the next year, they're the one seed. You think they're on their way back to the NFC championship. Injuries completely derail their season. They lose in the playoffs at home. And after that, they lose both coordinators. They're losing guys. They now lose Ragnow on the offensive line. You're like, okay, is this offensive line going to be the same? And I don't know. It just sometimes feels like your window closes so quickly in this league.
Yep. I mean, kick the field goals, Dan.
Yeah, it's the might be the only time that being aggressive would not have.
He
Fortune
almost
favors
got,
the bold, right? Isn't that the saying?
you felt it coming. That whole,
Yep.
I was just like, every time he went for it and didn't get it, I'm like, here we go.
It was like they were digging the hole a foot deeper, searching for treasure, and they were looking in the wrong hole.
Yes. Yep.
Which I guess is another holes reference for the second time in this
Yep.
episode. But yeah, I want
That's
to
the
talk
type,
about that.
that's the type of year it is, or the time of year it is.
It's and as good as like the Eagles were last year, like this is not half of it, but there is a bit of luck, right?
Oh,
Like it takes being healthy. It takes everything working out schedule wise. It's just
yep.
little things. It takes, I don't want to say the snow because I think we would have actually blown the Rams out if it didn't snow. But it's just like things happen from game to game, from week to week, from year to year, and you think you have this giant prime window, and it doesn't always work out like that.
Yep.
You got
It's,
to
I mean,
capitalize when you're there.
they call it a magical run for a reason. I mean, the
Mhm.
stars align, like you said earlier. You got good Saquon, healthy Saquon. I mean, even though there was yip yap about Hurts and AJ Brown in the book, like everything just kept on plugging. You
Mhm.
saw what happened the year before, right? It didn't keep
Yeah.
on plugging. Injuries happened, and there was a complete collapse.
Yeah.
So it's amazing the dichotomy that was seen back to back years from that team.
Definitely. Definitely. One last Eagles thing, and then we'll switch over to Cowboys OTAs. This isn't necessarily OTAs action, but Bryce Huff, farewell, my dear friend.
Mhm.
We hardly knew you, literally. He's been traded to the 49ers. We get a fifth round pick, possibly a fourth round based on performance. I will say this was a small miracle. I know this will not get labeled as like a Howie Roseman heist, considering we put ourselves in this mess to begin with. But wow, to get any type of draft compensation for him is a small miracle. Kevin, I did a video that day that I was going to do as like a YouTube short, and I was like, what are they going to do with Bryce Huff? Like, he has a dead cap hit next year of
Mhm.
$21 million. So you can't cut him. The trade value, this is a guy who is a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. So he doesn't really have great trade value. What are they going to do? And I'm
Yep.
like, he's not at OTAs. So what is the plan? Apparently they had a plan, and it was to offload his contract onto the 49ers and get a fifth round pick for him. They saved $2.4 million in the process. I think they take a hit of like $7 million in cash, but considering the alternative option,
Yeah.
did we dodge a bullet?
I mean, that's a great thing about Howie too. I mean, not every single one of his deals have been a home run in his career, but he knows when to move on from a dud
Mhm.
and does.
And you're at a success rate where it doesn't completely deter your path, right? Like they still did so well elsewhere that even though that signing didn't work out, it was still survivable because you drafted well. You drafted Jalen Hunt, you drafted Nolan Smith, so you were still in a good position. You signed Zach Bond in the offseason. That's more dumb luck, to be honest. But yeah, it's if you hit at a high enough success rate, sometimes if the risk doesn't pay off, you can get yourself out of it.
Agree.
So it will not go down as the greatest Howie heist of all time, but we did rob a convenience store on this one.
Yes, you
We
did.
might have not robbed the Bellagio and the MGM Grand like the Ocean's Crew this time, but we knocked off a 7-Eleven.
and it was fun.
It was fun.
Mm. All right, let's hop over to Dallas. So a lot going on, obviously. First year head coach Brian Schottenheimer. He spoke to the media today. I got to tell you, Aiden doesn't want to talk about the Cowboys. Oh, there he is.
I had to block
Um,
my screen a
you were
second.
just like, nope,
My
bye.
cord fell out. Yeah,
Um,
okay, my time's over. See you.
I love listening to him speak. He actually answers questions. He's enthusiastic. He makes it fun, and he gives you real answers. It is like such a breath of fresh air from like just listening to Mike McCarthy just mouth breathe for 25 minutes on a thing. Just yeah, they're working hard. Like it just I could not listen. I could feel McCarthy's just air coming in my earbuds. Like it just I could feel it. It was horrible.
He's
Um,
not the healthiest looking guy. That checks out.
did you watch The Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
As the show got longer, you could hear Tony breathing a lot,
Mhm.
like he got
Yeah.
unhealthier as the show went on. So it was the same sort of thing.
He got
Um,
a little too into character
yes, he did, and he actually. Do you know where he died?
in the show or in
No,
real life.
in real life,
I do not.
in Italy.
No way.
Yeah, I think he was eating a pizza and drinking wine, and he literally died.
I hope that's not foreshadowing for how it goes for me.
Well, if it is, enjoy it.
My last slice.
So the culture is incredibly different already. Um, I don't know if you saw who was it? Wanye Thomas last week tweeted a picture of like him at OTAs and Schottenheimer giving him a high five, and all he wrote was fun again. Like these
I
guys
did
are
see that.
having fun. They're working hard. They say like the media says the music is so loud that our guy Kyle Yeomans and like the DallasCowboys.com guys are having their like live shows streamed on YouTube, and they've had to do something with like bringing special mics in so they can't hear the music and get hit with copyright issues because
Copyright.
the music's so loud.
That's actually funny.
I
That is funny.
absolutely love it. So players are having fun. Yesterday they had what they called Legends Day, where he brought back like everybody, former Cowboys. Michael Irvin was there, Randy White, and even guys like Dat Wynn, Brady James, just brought the guys in. They were at practice. They were having 3-point shot competitions, just in the meeting rooms, having fun all day long. And Michael Irvin was very questioning of the Schottenheimer hire in the beginning, and now he said after that day he's in. He's like, it just the guys are competing at every level, at every moment. He's like literally in the wide receiver room. The coach would just be like, "All right, you up," and there's two wide receivers on whiteboards drawing out plays, and whoever
Mhm.
hits it faster, I don't know, wins something. But they're competing at
I
every
like
moment.
all of that.
Schottenheimer was joking that like Brady James and Joe Looney, two former players, like were literally balling out and like not got into a fight, but like got real rowdy over their one-on-one
Mhm.
game that they're running. And so it's now I'm not saying that this is going to lead to wins or this is going to lead to a Super Bowl, but it's different and
It's a
it's a
breath of fresh
change
air.
and it's fresh and it's young, it's leaning towards young. And the one thing I did like that Michael Irvin said too was he's like, every meeting room I went to, I did not see one player on their phone. And in this
That's
era,
most
that's
important.
like huge.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge in this era.
And to hear, and he doesn't bullshit. Michael Irvin's not going to say something or to blow smoke. So I think that actually was true and did happen. So pumped about that. Couple guys that are new to the program, new to the team, that names just keep coming up as they've been stepping up. And now again, this is OTAs. This is um, fresh and you can't see too much. But Jack Sanborn, the linebacker that was brought in from the Bears, obviously he knows Eberflus's system. He's going to be that conduit. Um, he's showing up constantly. Looks like he's going to win the starting middle linebacker role, especially when Overchone is going to be rehabbing. And
Mhm.
he's also stepping up teaching the young guys, the undrafted linebackers, the fifth round linebacker. He's like, he doesn't need to be doing this, but he's taking every moment he can when he's not on the field coaching them, which I love. Kyer Elam, they said has, he's been the fastest guy at practice. He has been pass breakups everywhere. They said, and I loved this. And Schottenheimer at his press conference today was like, listen, sometimes fits don't work. Sometimes you go to a team and you don't play well.
Yeah,
Admitting that Kyer Elam has not played well, but he's like he's a first round pick. His athleticism shows every day.
it's gonna
Um,
make that joke.
yeah, the first round pick.
Mhm.
So we'll see. He's like, we'll see. They have a lot of work to do in terms of the cornerback room, right? He mentioned Trayvon Diggs. There's still no timetable on his rehab. He's down in Miami rehabbing. It's so funny
Oh
how these
yeah.
guys. Yeah,
Does the Diggs family? uh,
I
they seem to rehab interesting places.
yes, and with interesting substances.
Yeah,
That was unbelievable.
that video is insane.
How do you even like if you're a guy like Stephon Diggs, if you're getting on a boat or you're having people get on your boat, like I'm having like it's gonna be like the Masters where there's a lockbox and everyone has to hand in their phone.
Yeah, it's a no foam thing. That
Yeah,
was the clearest video I've ever seen.
ever.
How do we get our podcast as clean as Stephon Diggs boat videos?
And how does he not see like the just like what do you got there? What's going on
Yeah,
here?
what the phone is 5 feet from his face. Not even.
Unbelievable. But they have a lot of work to do in terms of the cornerback. So if Kyer Elam can be a guy that can step up and give them starts, and not have Andrew Booth run out there and give up 275 yards and 3 touchdowns to AJ Brown week 1, that would be lovely.
It
Um,
would, but I hope not.
Chavon
I'd
Ravel,
like nothing more than trial by fire with the Cowboys corners covering
it's
Devontae and
it's
AJ.
literally what it's going to be for them for Booker going against Jalen Carter. Like it's going to be a lot of trial by
You
fire.
mean
So
you mean the Jalen Carter stopper?
yeah, hello, here you go.
Good
Uh,
luck. Week 1.
but I'm excited about George Pickens, another guy
Yeah,
that's been stepping up. I think he completely changes the offense. He changes everything because it was, CeeDee Lamb and then who's the number 2? It was always Jake Ferguson. And it was
right?
never now it's everybody's getting pushed back like a notch or 2 in terms of
That's
the
so
importance.
important. Yeah, that's so important. I swear by this all the time. It's like that depth level, right? Like if you're one notch away from where you should be, you,
Mhm.
it just makes it so tough on you.
Yep.
But when you slide into your proper slot, then you get the best performance from those players.
Yes. Like think about now defenses have to try and take away CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Think about what that's going to do for a guy like Jake Ferguson. Before it was all right, CD bracket CD and just take away Jake. Now it's okay. Now Jake's probably going to be open, and we know what Dak loves, and that's thrown to the tight end. So it's going to help. It's going to help the running game. It's going to help everything. So I'm super excited about George Pickens and a surprising guy so far, Aiden, who has looked very good. And again, OTAs, it's hard to judge this position, but Miles Sanders, they are saying, has looked like the best running back on the team
All
right
right.
now. He's got burst, he's got juice, he's catching the ball out of the backfield. I I think
Good.
he was the dark horse. People were thinking he was going to get cut maybe even before training camp. But as of right now, if you took the numbers off, if you took the names off the back and you just blindly had somebody pick and be like, all right, who looks best? Miles Sanders has been the guy right now.
Okay. I love to hear that, and I hope he makes a team. I hope he is RB1. I wish the best for him always.
It's crazy if you look at his stats. I think his first year in Philly, he had like 5.3 yards a carry. Then it was like
Mhm.
5.5, and I think he got up to like 5.7 or something. And then his 2 years in Carolina were
Carolina.
3.5 and 3.3.
Yeah, yeah, and he wasn't the starter by the end of it. They went back to Chuba Hubbard.
But you know what? Again, sort of like the Kyrie Irving thing. Maybe you go to Carolina and you're like, wow, this fucking sucks. And you have a
Yeah.
maniac of an owner above your head, and you're like, this is just not fun. And
You're
I don't
playing
know.
with a bad offensive line and a rookie quarterback finding his way, and that doesn't lead to many running paths. I was gonna
It's
say
almost
paths
like
just like in general, but also just on the field paths.
it's almost like going to the Marlins Rockies game last night where 5,000 people actually went to.
I would have went as a bit.
Yes.
Like, it'd have been funny. Like, "Oh, I'm seeing the worst teams possible."
I mean, you have to be able to, like, sit behind home plate for, like, $12.
I think you could. That's when you gotta get your marketing team involved, and I don't you can't make fun of your own team, but I feel like you could pull off some interesting marketing with that,
I think
right?
you could be like, "Buy a suite, take an at
Yeah.
bat."
Or just, like, try to, do a promo for, like, tickets behind the dugouts and home plate, so it makes it look like it's super full. It'd be
Yeah, and
really
they're
funny if,
everywhere.
like, the whole stadium was empty, but it looks like a playoff game behind, like, home plate and stuff. That'd be the funniest thing.
And you should be like, if you sit behind there, you get to actually call 5 pitches for the game. Like, you have the
Yeah,
little thingy, like
the
the
pitch
yeah,
transponder. Given the
meat
way the
ball.
Rockies are going, it wouldn't hurt to try.
I'd have, seats in the bullpen. Like, you can actually just sit, where the dugout in the bullpen where you can just literally sit on the bench with them.
Yeah, you get to warm up.
Yep. You never know, you might get the call.
You honestly, with those teams, you truly do not know
You saw the Scotty Scheffler, stat?
that he has more wins than the Rockies do.
Yes, well, he had 3 tournament wins in the same span that they had 3 games won.
That is remarkable.
He won $10 million in 30 days playing golf, just in tournaments.
That hurts. That
A
hurts.
and his wife handed him he won on Sunday, won $4 million, and his wife's like, "Here you go, here's the baby, he's got poop all over his back." And
I saw
I
that.
showed my wife, she's like, "This is the most relatable thing I've ever seen."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It doesn't stop. Dad life doesn't
Nope.
stop.
Even though he it was just him coming home from work like any other dad when she's been with the baby
True.
all day.
I
That's
saw
it, there
that
you go.
going back to Stephon Diggs. He's like, "A weekend at debauchery and then back to work, just like
It
everybody else." It's like,
just like
it's
everybody
in a
else,
way, it's just work, just like everybody else.
just on a little bit different of a level.
Yeah, different pay scale.
So, I mean, that's besides that, the other guys, Overshone, um, Wilson, Ravel, all those guys have been rehabbing. Sam Williams, no timetable on any of those guys. They think Sam Williams should be good for camp. He looks, here we go, best shape of his life season.
Oh,
So can't
no.
wait to see that.
We
That
are in peak best shape of your
yes,
life
we are.
season. The first the final week of OTAs.
I I almost I almost am reminiscing for a Zeke Elliott trash can video where he's
Yeah.
just dodging trash cans like last year. And Jerry Jones was like, "Oh, look at that boy. Those trash cans. He got right
Uh,
around them. Give me
Third
some of
time's the
that."
charm.
But the one thing I want to say in terms of like Miles Sanders and all these running backs, like last year when they brought in Zeke, he didn't get any work in the preseason, any work in training camp, like any team period that he was just on the sideline. I you gotta see what they actually have when the pads come on and the in those practices with other teams. I got to see what Miles Sanders is actually doing. Javonte Williams, Jaden, all those guys. You need to
Mhm.
have live reps, throw them in the live fire. Let's see what it actually looks like.
Yeah, I'm usually like anti-play preseason at this point, but I think in the case of the Cowboys, there's some, chemistry to figure, right?
Mhm.
We got to put the atoms and the bonds together chemistry wise and see how it works. So they might need a few series in preseason before you start off on the road week
And
1.
that includes Dak. I would like to see Dak play at
Yeah,
least a
true.
series. I mean,
Because he at that point, when did he get hurt? October. So by the time he
Atlanta,
plays
yeah.
another game, that's 11 months without touching a football field with real reps.
Yep.
Even the best, I mean, it's all about repetition and chemistry. And he's playing with new running back, new wide receiver, new
Yep.
offensive coordinator, new
Everything.
guys on the offensive line. Like pretty much everything around him is new
Yep.
since he
Everything.
got hurt.
So, I'm gonna start next week after next week too. I've been doing these, listening to different podcasts, and a lot of ones doing fun. So I want to do a game where we do like a this or that, where like, would you rather have an all pro season from your center or an all-pro season from Dallas Goedert? Like those type of things. You know what I mean?
Great question. I like the sound of that.
You can answer that right now if you want.
I'd have to think on that. I would go Dallas Goedert because
Okay.
if I think he to be all pro, you'd have to be what, like top 3
Yep.
tight ends in the league. If AJ and Devontae are healthy and you have an all pro tight end, I feel like that makes for an unstoppable trio. So I'd go Goddard, but it's a great question.
See what these can do. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start doing that to fill the gaps of the summer, Aiden.
I love it. I think that's a great idea.
Looking forward to the start of the season. But next week, like we said, RJ Ochoa, Brandon Lee Gowton, me and Aiden all together previewing week 1 in Philadelphia, Cowboys Eagles. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. Don't miss it. So make sure you're subscribed right here if you're watching to our YouTube channel. So close to 1,000. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we are there as well. And social media, I mean, we got you covered. So anywhere you are, we are there. You should be following us as well. Birds vs. Boys Pod, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter as well. Aiden, enjoy Italy. Ciao, my friend. Have plenty of espressos, plenty of Aperol spritzes, and soak it in because the second you leave, you're going to want to go back.
I can't wait. I'm off. We're signing off, but I'm getting on an airplane. Can't wait.
Go get airport drunk.
Yeah, I can't wait to go have a beer at Chickies and Pete's and sit on the coast of Italy and think about Will Shipley if he has to be RB1.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year! This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.